Hello, dear friends. This is Kira Rudik, member of Ukrainian Parliament and leader of the political party Voice. I'm talking to you from Kiev, Ukraine. First of all, thank you so much for all the love and support you gave the previous video. And we are moving forward today. Many things happened over the last 24 hours. First of all, President Trump has talked to so-called coalition of the willing about what he's going to talk to Putin about and what would be the role of Europe and Ukraine in these negotiations. It seems he assured Europe that there will be nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine and that Europe will be heavily involved in all the security guarantees and moving forward. But what we again didn't hear just yet is what will be the mechanisms of President Trump pressuring Putin. So far, the United States and President Trump didn't do anything to execute on the threats to Russia. And as we know from the history, that bullies, they actually feast on people who are promising something and then not delivering on it. And from what we have learned in Ukraine, that the only language that Russia understands is the language of force, the language of power. This is the time when they start treating you seriously. And when you are just making empty threats, you are coming to these negotiations in a very weak position. So it will be a good idea to remember that and when we are looking at the situation moving forward. So there were many questions about why does President Zelenskyy not agreeing to give up some territories for the peace? Well, first question is, why should he? Because we don't know if Russia will stop there, and there is no way on ensuring that Russia will stop, no matter what territories potentially would be given up. Second matter is legal matter, that to give up on any territories, there should be changes made to the constitution. There should be a national referenda that is impossible to conduct during the wartime, during the martial law. And third point is we are talking not about Russia, not about any authoritarian country, we are talking about Ukraine. I want to remind you that we are the same people who didn't give up and at the beginning of full-scale invasion, when everybody said that we will fall in 2 or 3 days. We chose not to capitulate then. We are not capitulating right now. We are the same people who are fighting for the freedom, for the future. We are the same people who are, during the martial law, with all the limitations, a couple of weeks ago went out on the streets when there was a feeling that President and Parliament are attacking the anti-corruption organs. By the way, we and my party, we didn't vote for it, but people went on the street, and then the state reversed its decision, and you just see how Ukrainians are able to stand for what they are believing in. And what can you imagine would happen if President Zelenskyy suddenly decides to go against people's will to sacrifice some territories? It's just impossible, and it wouldn't go through. And I think most of the people who know Ukraine, they realize it. It's very unfortunate that over the course of his presidency or before it, President Trump didn't take on our invitation to for him to visit Ukraine. President Zelenskyy made it many times, and because he would see first what Russia is doing to our country, but also would be able to look people in the eye, to the people who are fighting and to the people who are actually standing every single day against the threat that is a threat to the whole Europe. So President Trump promised yet again that he will pressure Putin, that there would be severe consequences, and he declined to say what consequences that would be. And I think when you're going into negotiations like this, you need to have this information in mind, and you have to have this position. No matter how optimistic or pessimistic people are, I think as of right now, our European partners have been mobilized, and President Zelenskyy today is in Britain talking to Sir Keir Starmer about what the next steps could be. I think we will be all watching very closely. but I want to give you an understanding of people on the ground in Ukraine here. So we have been with those ups and downs with President Trump many times, but the main question that people are asking is, what have we done wrong, right? We are a sovereign state, we are an independent country, we're independent people standing for European values, fighting for our survival. So it should be very black and white, right? And I think it was like that at the beginning of full-scale invasion. Right now, when one is trying to say that Russia has also some say in Ukraine's future, or that you need to account everybody's interest here, the question is, like, what did we do the other way than was expected of us? And this is very hard to explain, especially to the people who are fighting at the front line. They are asking those questions as well. And I'm trying to answer it diplomatically and saying that geopolitics is hard and things are changing very rapidly, and that we need just to stick to our grounds and do what is at our hands, which is to fight, to support people who are fighting, and just to go ahead and stick together as a state. But these questions arise, and I think we are expecting that President Trump, if he does something to forfeit Ukraine, he will have the answer to the questions. Otherwise, it will be so unfair, right?